Okay, well, welcome everybody. We're so happy to see so many faces. If I haven't introduced myself yet, my name is Sherry Kopishka. I'm the president of Chesterfield Township Democrats. I'm very recently. This is my daughter Clara. So she's also part of the gang. Before I get to announcements, I just wanted to share something. Right here we have this beautiful feedback box. It was my son's Valentine's Day box, so that's why it looks the way it does. And I have some index cards and some pens. So I know sometimes when we have guest speakers or a lot of things going on, you might have questions or comments that we don't get to. And so if you want to go ahead and write on the index card, we will make sure that either we or the candidate or the organization gets back to you. So just make sure if there's something on your mind at the end, fill that out because we'll take it home and we'll follow up by the end of the week. So, okay. So I just first want to introduce our executive committee to you. So there's me, I'm the president, and then we have Brian over here. He does all our social media. And then we've got Marie right here. She does all our programming. And then Karen in the back, you should talk to her. She's our membership chair. So everything else is and then we have a new executive committee member, Christina. Can you see her? She's our new secretary. She just started now. And we are still looking to fill our treasurer position. So if you have time and capacity, we would love to have you join. As soon as we have a treasurer, we'll really be operating at full pistons and full steam ahead. And like I was telling some of y'all, we really want to hit the ground running come January. So please come and talk to me after the meeting if you are even remotely interested in it. Okay, next I'm going to invite Kate to come up. She's from the county committee and she's going to talk to us about some of the petitions that are going around. Yeah. Can I hear me? Yes, yeah?
Just a little bit closer.
So, And get all that soon. Okay, any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I know there's so many petitions and things going around, so I really appreciate you coming and just explaining it for everybody. If you ever have any questions, you just send us an email, send us a message, and we'll walk you through it again. Okay, we want to make sure everybody feels empowered and educated and knows exactly what's going on. Because it took me like 3 times reading through all of this to know what's going on. So don't feel ashamed if it takes you a while too. So, okay, some other announcements. So now that we have restarted Chesterfield Township Democrats, our plan is to meet on the 4th Wednesday of every month. The only issue with that is with the holidays, the 4th Wednesday of the month will hit the holiday weeks in November and December. So we will be not meeting in person in November and in December. There will still be things going on happening, kind of, I guess not offline because it's online, but so keep an eye on your emails. We're not going away, but it will be a wonderful prep time for us so that come January, we're going to be meeting every single month of 2026, and realistically, we don't have that much time until the elections in November. So I'm excited for that, but just, if you show up here in November and December, nobody will be here. So, just keep that in mind. Okay, the next thing is, can you raise your hand if you live in the Rockwood School District? Okay, perfect. On November 4th, y'all have an election, okay? It's gonna be Prop S to give funding to the schools to raise the wages for the teachers, auxiliary staff. Harry and Lauren, can y'all stand up? If you live in Rockwood School District, take some time to talk to these folks afterwards. They'll go through exactly what the initiative is, and they'll get you a yard sign even. So bonus right there, okay? But
and Disney Parkway wants to stop by and talk.
Yeah, the Parkway can also come and stop by and talk to them. So they did say
people have Rockwood friends. So
yeah, yes, that's true. We know Rockwood friends, and they did say that now because it's a couple weeks till the election. Of course, all the negative opposition is coming out, and so they really need help just spreading the word for what this initiative is about to fund our schools. Okay, the next thing is House District 101. So y'all should have seen it on your announcements what the map is. We are still looking for a candidate to run against Ben Keithley in House District 101. If you are interested, you will have the backing of this body, of the county body, of the caucus in the House. We want to help empower whoever puts their name on the ballot to have a successful campaign. So if you have felt the desire in your heart to run for office, please consider running for House District 101. Okay, and then finally, the last little announcement that we have tonight. Okay, I have a brief minute, so I'm gonna just share a little story with y'all first. So, as many of you know, I moved up here from Louisiana. That's where we lived before we came here and moved to Chesterfield. And when I was down in Louisiana, I was very involved with the Democratic Party. And there was one time we really focused, what I focused on was voter engagement, voter education, right? So a lot of talking to people, which I love to do, and I will try and not talk too long tonight. Well, we were down in an area called Harvey. If any of y'all are familiar with the area, Harvey is, it was a working class area, and lots of shotgun houses, not necessarily the place you would look for donors and things, right? So I was out with my friend, and I was knocking on doors down in Harvey, Louisiana. We came upon this door in the shotgun house, and this woman, probably in her 70s or so, answers the door. And we say, hey, I'm Sherry, we're from the Democratic Party. Here's some literature, some voter education, right? These elections are going on. Here's a little guide to what these offices are. Also, what kind of ideas do you have? Like, how are you doing? And we just had this conversation with this woman. And this woman, Miss Margaret, I will never forget her because after we kind of talked to her, she said, when I was in elementary school, I was one of the children who integrated my elementary school here in Louisiana. And I have voted in every single election that I've been eligible for. And I've always voted for a Democrat. And in all my years, this is the first time that the Democratic Party is coming and talking to me and asking me for my ideas and my desires and my feedback. And that really stuck with me when she told us that. I mean, she loved having a conversation. We were all super bubbly, but I can't forget about Ms. Margaret in that house. And then I moved up here to Chesterfield, and I thought, what can I bring to this body, to these wonderful people as we're all gathered here today? And I thought, what I want to bring as your president is that same kind of energy, where we're going out in the community as Democrats with our principles and our ideals, and we're showing our neighbors, hey, I'm your neighbor, and I believe in this country, and I believe in patriotism and plurality, and I'm not your enemy. We have the same ideas, and I want to select good, moral people to office to lead this country, right? And so with all that in my mind, I convinced my wonderful executive committee for us to start a voter outreach committee. So I have these flyers, and they have a QR code on them. And if you've been like, what are those Democrats doing? They need to do more work, they need to do more, and you're kind of shaking your fist at them, this is your chance to take some action. So I'm going to pass these out, and if you scan this QR code, you're going to give me your information and kind of give me a little more feedback of how you operate, tools you're used to. And then we're going to be spending November and December. We'll do at least 1, maybe 2 Zoom calls, but we'll also do kind of asynchronic organization so that we have a game plan come January. And I can't do this on my own. So all of you that are new or who have come back, please join the voter outreach committee. Like, this is where the rubber meets the road, y'all. So I am so excited. I'm pumped. I got lots of energy, as you can see. And so please consider joining and coming and helping out, because if everybody in this room were to even do 1 hour of work, that would change the trajectory of things. So, thank you.
Fred Wellman, who is a candidate, as you know, for Missouri 2. I want to just tell you a little bit about him. He's a very strong candidate. Fred is a political consultant, Army combat veteran, and media personality. He advises political candidates, nonprofits, and political action committees engaged in pro-democracy efforts, as well as managing his own On Democracy podcast, which is a great podcast I've listened to before. He manages a newsletter, and he has been appearing in national media. In his past, he served for over 22 years as an Army aviator and public affairs officer, including 4 tours in Operation Desert Storm and Iraqi Freedom. He's learned a lot, and you'll hear about that tonight. He was the executive director and senior advisor for the Lincoln Project during the 2020 election campaign and after. He was founder and CEO of his own public relations and advocacy firm focused on veterans for a decade after his retirement from the U.S. Army. He's a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point and the Harvard Kennedy School, where he attended as a presidential scholar and public services fellow before graduating as a Lucius N. Littauer Fellow for outstanding academic achievement and future leadership. He grew up in Kirkwood, graduated from Kirkwood High School. He returned to Missouri 4 years ago and currently lives with his fiancee in Wellman. Come on up, Fred.
Sounds amazing. It's always funny when somebody reads your bio. I'm just like, damn, I'm old. It's nice to meet you guys. I'm Fred Wellman. I am running for Congress in Missouri Congressional District 2. And we're going if you've heard the story before, forgive me, but you haven't. Now, it's an interesting story there. So, you don't need to hear my bio again, so I'm not going to go over it because nobody's got that kind of time. It's late, and we don't have coffee. I want to tell you the rest of the story, and this is the story of why I'm running. I have one tattoo. If you've heard the story before, forgive me. It's in the video. It's online. Don't worry about it. But my one tattoo I got, it says, "I'm not done yet." It's on my arm. This summer you can see it, but it's cold, so you won't. But what it says is, "I'm not done yet." And why is that? So, anybody veterans in here? Veterans? Oh, look at that. All the balls. Line of balls here. And Sue, I love it. If you've ever been combat tours, I lost some men. And when I retired out of the Pentagon. And my boss was a guy named, you may have heard of Dave. He was my professor at West Point. It's a story. Anyway, I'm on a flying helicopter. It's a long story. Having said that, General Petraeus, when he was a 4-star, agreed to come retire me out of the Pentagon, which is great. So it's a big deal. Everybody's freaking out of the Pentagon because Petraeus is there, and I'm getting organized. And I'm getting ready for my retirement. If you've ever been to a military retirement, I know you guys have, it's a little bit like a funeral, right? Like the person's dead. They're laughing, they know, right? It's like, okay, he was great, he did cool things, like, I'm right here. I'm 44 years old, for God's sake. And I'm getting ready for my I know it's a funeral, that's pretty good. Freudian slip. But so I was panicked getting ready for this event. And at the night before, I sat down on my computer to write my speech finally at midnight. Because we learned at West Point, if you wait till the last minute, no one takes a minute. And so I was waiting my minute to do my speech. And I started typing this long soliloquy about how awesome I was. And I realized I was writing my own funeral. And I'm not dead yet. And I literally deleted the whole thing. I just typed, "I'm not done yet." And what I meant by that was I already had a job lined up. I had a future in mind. I had 4 kids and a wife who was a flight attendant at the time, so that was pretty sweet. We were flying around the world. And I thought, geez, I'm only 44 years old. I've seen the pyramids. I've slid in the water in the Panama Canal for jungle school. I've flown into combat in Desert Storm over the lines of troops as far as I can see, like Mad Max. And I've seen these things. I've sat in the room with generals and the president, escorted President Bush. So I'm not done yet. And the interesting thing about that is, as I finished it and I told the speech, moved on with my life, things after you leave the Army get tough sometimes. You guys know, some of you veterans have challenged. I'm one of those veterans. And sometimes things got a little dark for me. I had PTSD pretty severely, and that's why I did the story. See, you heard the good part. But you and I all know that our lives are not always that one, right? That American lives, human lives are different. My human life behind that long bio is, in Desert Storm, 2 of my men were killed in a mission I was supposed to fly. After I got back, my first wife was killed in a car accident when she was 7.5 months pregnant. After that, I left the Army and got married again, and 9/11 hit, and I got mobilized that day and went back in the Army. I did civil affairs in Iraq. My interpreter, Bassam, wonderful man, was kidnapped and beheaded on camera. I got his family out of Iraq. They live in Phoenix now. My mom, Dr. Muhammad, my partner, that built all those schools and clinics, was executed in the clinic I built for him. And those things leave a mark. And I suffered PTSD, I made mistakes, okay? And the rest of life is, when 9/11 hit, my wife lost her job as a flight attendant, I lost my job as a project management consultant, I got mobilized in the Army, single, zero, no taxable. If you're military, can you imagine single, zero, living in the 10th most affluent city in America? 3 months later, we were broke. That's the American story. How many people in your neighborhood, cancer strikes? Right? No matter where you live. I grew up in Greenbrier. This is the American story, right? Divorce comes, house falls into foreclosure, right? That's the American story. That was our story. And Andrew attacked me about that. Go for it. Yeah. I went back in the Army for 81 years. Saw combat 3 more times. I left the Army. Started a business for 10 years, doing great things. Mostly nonprofit clients. And in 2020, what happened? There was this pandemic. You guys remember? It was really weird. All wore masks. It's crazy. And everywhere wearing masks. I volunteered to run a COVID fit hospital in New York, run by Special Operations Medical Veterans. And they invited me to come up and be the admin. I had to be the chief of staff of the hospital. Have you ever run a hospital? No. I was driving in New York, and my fiance called. She goes, "You work with doctors?" Like, "No, how hard can it be?" She's like, "Oh, sweet baby." Sweet summer child. Anyway, it was great. But we did COVID, and then I came back and my company was dead. It was done. All the nonprofit clients, the person they fire is PR. So I closed my company, $300,000 in loans. Done it again. But guess what? I did. I wasn't done yet. I got back up again. And that's our story, isn't that what we all do? You don't just quit. You get back up again. And that's why I typed on my shoulder. When my wife said she had enough of my stuff, and she was right to do it. We got divorced, and the day after the divorce, I said, "I'm getting my damn tattoo." My one tattoo. Now, just note, if you're following current news, I do not have any Nazi tattoos. I don't know what it is. I know that's what you're probably thinking. Yeah, it's one tattoo. Sure it is. No, I got one. I swear to God, there's no Nazi tattoos on my chest. I swear to God. So that's the story and why I'm running. So I'm sitting there in July. You guys remember the scene, right? The big, beautiful bill, the big billionaire bill is being debated. It's passed the House. Ann Wagner loved it. Love it. Go. Let's cut some Medicaid. Let's cut some freaking healthcare. Let's cut some SNAP. Goes to the Senate. Do you guys remember what happened the weekend? The Senate was debating the bill as they argued to take away more healthcare. They argued to take away more SNAP. Josh Hall and Eric Schmidt were up there trying to get more money taken away from Americans in need. But do you remember the split screen? Jeff Bezos' wedding in Venice, right? Same weekend. The split screen of my TV was senators from Missouri and elsewhere arguing about taking away our freedom, taking away our health care, giving the largest transfer of wealth to the top 10% in the history of America. And the other half, those people, they're in Venice partying for $56 million. I cannot, and my fiance tells the story. It's funny because she doesn't talk about my politics much. But we were sitting at Joe Priel's, my treasurer, at dinner, and Joe said, "Why did you run?" And she jumped in, which is really unusual. You know my fiance. And she said, I've never seen him so pissed. He woke up angry. And I woke up angry because I have 4 kids, adult kids. My oldest, my daughter, my son-in-law, he's a National Guardsman in Virginia. He was at the Unite the Right rally as a National Guardsman, guarding a statue. Guarding Robert E. Lee's stone butt. And I had just had knee replacement surgery. I'm sitting on my military. Better, gotta get knee replacement. And I'm sitting on a couch with knee replacement surgery, watching this unfold. I'm 100 miles north in Richmond, or Frederick, Virginia. And I'm watching this unfold. Every now and then I can see the distance, the soldiers. My son-in-law, he did a tour 20. So I started Iraq Freedom. My son-in-law closed it. He was the last one out. Ironic. But I was more worried about him in Charlottesville, Virginia, than I was about him in Iraq. My oldest son works for a major corporation in Virginia. His wife works for him too. They got a starter on, they bought during the pandemic. They can't get out of it. Because right now we face the largest gap between median income and median house price in the history of America. My youngest daughter owns a small business with her mother in Frederick, Virginia. They make bath and body products. Sugar spruce, check it out. They could use the come. It's great stuff, handmade. She imports citric acid from Canada. See where this is going? She's had the worst July in 5 years because of Donald Trump's tariffs. Hey, by the way, raise your hand. Do you know who the Constitution says passes tariffs?
Congress.
The House of Representatives. Not Donald Trump. And Wagner, who refuses to do their job. And finally, my youngest son, 27 years old. He was a bartender, professional bartender. Well, actually, he worked for me at the Lincoln Project for a while. I don't know if you mentioned the Lincoln Project. I used to work for the Lincoln Project. He worked for me there, so he decided to quit politics, obviously. That's guys are nuts. But Hunter was a bartender, professional bartender at one of the most popular small restaurants. I'm sorry. One of the most popular small restaurants in Richmond, Virginia. Full-time, 8-10 hours a day on his feet. ACA went to him and said, dude, you need health care, let's get it. Went to the ACA health care, qualified for Medicaid. Okay? Now, remember that weekend? Remember what they said on TV? They said we had 27-year-old men laying on their couch playing video games, getting free health care. My son is not lazy. He's not staying on his couch playing video games. He does play video games. But he sure ain't doing it for a living. And I woke up angry because these people are smearing our kids. And if you have a certain age, like me, I'm a Gen X, I swear. You know, my dad was a World War II Marine. He was the first of his family to go to college on the GI Bill. All 4 of his kids went to college. 3 went to the zoo. I rebelled, went to West Point. I suck at rebelling. It was free. Kinda. Oh, is it really free? Anyway. I kind of did. Hence knee surgery. I got sidetracked. All 4 went to college. And I asked myself, and do you ask yourself your mind, or if you're that generation, if you're Gen X or Gen Z, like my friend Ray Reed in the back, Ray, so good to see you, sir. Are you getting the American dream that we had? I asked myself, do my 4 kids have the American dream that my dad, mom gave me? And I'm not sure we do. And I feel we owe responsibility to our country to not let that happen. So I woke up pissed. Hence this. And somebody called me, Chelsea, after I spoke at the rally with Chris Murphy. Was that at the Chris Murphy rally? Great, right? I was the MC. Remember, I was the guy who yelled at the beginning. I was the yelling guy. I didn't yell that much, but anyway, apparently everybody thought I ran for office. I wasn't. I was there to introduce Chris Murphy. So this one texted me around July 4th, says, how come you're not running for Congress? I said, that's a crazy idea. Remember the bankruptcy I just told you about? Divorce, PTSD. I've had a hard life. And she pointed out, so are we. So are we. So I'm not your perfect candidate. Nobody grew me in a lab. Why would they look at me chonky, short? Jesus Christ. You'd be so much better. But it's time for a change. And I say this because we were in St. Charles on last Wednesday, Tucson, St. Charles, I think. Thursday, was it? And a nice lady came up to our table, and she said to me, Fred, I want to donate to your campaign. And I'm like, yeah, all right. But I can't, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my health care next month. And I said, okay, have you reached out to Ann Wagner? She goes, of course. Not a peep. Not reply to her email, not reply to her voicemail, not reply to anything. No town halls, no, but Ann's putting out emails saying it's the Democrats' fault. Ann's putting out little interviews with KSTK saying it's the Democrats' fault. It's all Democrats' fault. The evil Democrats want to give illegal aliens health care. No, they don't. They just want health care, so all of our prices are about to go up like crazy. Not just ACA, everybody. And that bill's coming due next month, y'all. It's going to be ugly. But they're lying. They're lying to us. And it's unacceptable. So, I look at this and I say, what are we going to do about it? And anger is not enough. And I think of a man, so how do we win? I'll get, this is what's the new part of my speech. You thought I wrote it very carefully. It's been interesting. As I started calling donors, talking to voters, talking to people not, just up and getting out, you know what no one's asked me? What's your policy, Fred, on X? I think I've had one policy question. Everybody says, Fred, how are you going to win? Because you know what? We've invested in every race, 6, 8 in a row. Good candidates. Ray, Trish, Joe, Court. And we lost. Okay? How are you going to win? Well, one, we're going to build a plan. So I'm going to tell you a Ranger School story. I've been to combat 4 times. Ranger School stories are better. Any Rangers? No? Okay. That's what I want now. All right, here we go. So I went to Ranger School as a captain, which is weird, right? And I was a helicopter pilot, which is also weird. I won't tell you the whole story how I got there. It was crazy. 27-year-old helicopter pilot in Ranger School, which is an infantry school, tough guy school. I'm not a tough guy. Well, I can tell you on TV. So one night, we're in the mountains of Georgia, Appalachian Mountains, right along the Appalachian Trail. And the mission was to get up on the Appalachian Trail, move about 10 kilometers, and assault the position in the middle of the night. It's Georgia, it's winter, it's raining. That's what it does there. Rains a lot, and it's cold. So, we had a young man in charge, a young lieutenant, actually an aviator of all things, of course. He got lost, as one does, and he led us into a draw, okay? Instead of the path up the hill, we were next to the half of the hill, which is the path to hell, as it turns out. So, being Rangers, we get stuck in this draw next to a creek, and we stop, and all of us lay down and fall asleep, because that's what you do, because you're tired, you're sleeping up there. And we're stuck. And the ranger instructors are getting angry because it's late and it's raining and we're supposed to be somewhere else. So the worst thing, the way it works in Ranger School is you're assigned to be in charge every now and then. That's how you get graded. You don't want to hear your name called in the middle of the night. Okay? There you go. And you're, Wellman, you're up. I run up the ranger instructor. They're all bigger than me because, again, short, squatty. And I said, what's up, Ranger? He goes, you're in charge. You're supposed to be up there. We're down here. Get us out of here, or everybody dies. I'm like, okay. So I said, I gotta have a plan. And I grabbed my platoon sergeant. I said, all right, bud, you're gonna go up first. We're gonna go in a circle. We're gonna kick everybody in the ass, wake them up, and send them up the hill. You get to the top of the hill, put them in the Rangers in the position there, and then we'll go from there. And that was the whole plan. So that's what we do. So I run out, get up, get up the hill, up the hill. Rangers start throwing grenades. I'm running around like a chicken man cuff. I weighed about 100 pounds less than this. I know it's hard to believe, but skinny ones. And I feel myself bodily picked up from behind by my rucksack. Okay? And I get picked up, I turn around, these 2 giant ranger instructors. They're very handsome, these are like models. And they're looking at me very angry in the pouring rain in their caps. I said, Ranger, what are you doing? I said, you said get to the top of the hill. We're getting to the top of the effing hill. If you get out of my way, I can get the job done. And they said, actually, I use colorful language because I am. And they looked at each other, and I love it. It was my favorite things ever. They looked at each other and go, Ranger's got a plan. Carry on. And that's what we did. We ran, I just chased her up the hill. We got to the top of the hill, we got the circle, I said, got the compass out, we're going that way. We move it, they go, Wellman, you're fired. Mission accomplished. But the point of that story is, Ranger's got a plan. And what we need is a plan. And the plan involves physics, momentum, energy. See, there's a science behind this. And the science is this. How many people went to No King's Rider right out here? Look at that. Look at that. That's energy. Right? That's energy. How many people have ever been to a Democrat club meeting before in their lives? How many haven't? That's energy. You see that?
That's good.
I've been speaking all over this district. I'm going all Democrat clubs. And I'll tell you what, the powers that be, they're like, oh, you're good, Fred. They're going to vote for you. I'm like, I don't care. Voting's not enough. I need you to get out there and outdoors. I need you to get out there and canvas, what we call it. I need you to drop off lit. I need you to do phone bank if you can't walk. I need you to tell your neighbors about what we're doing and explain we don't have devil horns. We're decent people who want you to have health care. We want you to have food. We want you to have good schools. I'm not a bad person. I just care about people. We have that conversation in very hard places, and we do that. And that's the plan. It's not even complicated. But we haven't been able to do that in a long time. If you look at this district, not since Claire McCaskill. Jill did a great job, but there was that, what was that thing again? Oh, pandemic. Damn this thing. Trish struggled, Ray struggled. I'm not. We have got national support this time. DCCC is focused on this race. I know those folks. I just had Jason Crow on my show. He's the recruiting manager for DCCC. Vote Vets, I used to be the host of their YouTube show. Vote Vets is in. New Democrat Coalition, are we in? Our elected officials are in. Are you in?
Yes.
That's the key. That's my question for you. Are you in?
Yes.
Because if you are, we've got the energy. And as a pilot, I know it teaches a pilot. It's all about energy. Altitude and airspeed. You lose either of those, you die. It's really simple formula. Yeah, very simple man. None of this is calculus. If you notice this, it's all just like basic physics, right? Oh, we're gonna roll the wall. Oh, through like, yay, physics. Altitude and airspeed, right? As long as I have altitude and airspeed, I'm alive. I'm moving. I used to tell my kids all the time that life was about physics. An object of motion remains in motion. An object of rest remains at rest. Never rest. Never rest. Keep moving. If you're rolling, I can adjust. I can push you here and there. Right? That's what we're going to do. I need you to keep the energy. It took 7,000 people out on Manchester Road in the pouring rain with freaking lightning. That was awesome. I'm like, hey, look, I got an umbrella and the lightning. This is great. This seems like a bad idea. There's more people though, so I'll throw on my side. Well, y'all's going to die before me, because again, I'm short. Well, Days be short. We're all you tall people. Great reads. Screwed. He's talking. But I'm not. I'm sidetracked again. Having said that, that energy is everything. If you're with me, that means Craig Zoomstag's out there right now doing deep canvassing in Missouri too. That means the petition people are out there getting petitions signed. That means you can learn now how to drop it. Learn now how to follow me. Because your vote, I need your vote. I need your money. Chelsea will tell me, here's a QR code that will let there's a QR code. Give us the money. That'd be awesome. We need your money, but I need your time. I need your energy. I need your care. I need your passion. I need you to get over your fear of talking to your neighbors because we don't agree. I'm going to tell you the last story. My friend Mark Boyko represents Kirkwood, my hometown. And I said, Mark, my original hometown, a little while ago. I said, Mark, tell me, what are you hearing outdoors in your district? He said, Fred, number one thing I hear, my kids can't afford to live in Kirkwood. I want you to think about that. I grew up in Kirkwood. I grew up in Greenbrier, which, if you remember, was fancy back in the 70s. I was a fancy boy in the 70s. I never know. I was a Greenbrier kid. I didn't get into Greenbrier Country Club through the member entrance. I got into the employee entrance. I was a bus boy. But I lived in Greenbrier. And my sister still lives in Kirkwood to this day. Okay? He says my kids can't live in my town. Second thing, this is a fascinating story. And I want you to hold your thinking. Okay? I want you to hold your laughter until I get the end. He said, Fred, I knocked on the door of an 8-year-old constituent who was Republican. That's great. And I said, sir, I want to hear what's on your mind. I'm your representative. I represent you. I don't care what your party is. I represent you. Same as me. If I get elected, I'll never ask your party. I'll never check our donor rules. I don't check our donor rules now, which is weird, but here we are. He said, the gentleman said, I'll tell you what, Mark. It's these boys and girls' bathrooms. I don't like it. It's okay. So safety. And it's these boys on girls' sports. I don't like it. Mark said, okay, so parents. And here's where it gets interesting. I want you to hold your thinking. The other thing, Mark, is my wife gets a certain medicine, and it's really expensive, and we only afford it 1 week a month. So for 1 week a month, she's able to run errands, get out of the house, take care of herself. And for 3 weeks, she's pretty much stuck on the couch. Now think about that. He wasn't giving his priorities, you guys. It wasn't 1, 2, 3, number 1, 2, 3. And I talked to my fiance about this. She's worked with doctors. And a doctor will tell you, we have a doctor in the house, a doctor will tell you the most important part of the physical exam, especially with men, is the last 5 minutes, right? Anyone in healthcare know this? Therapists will tell you the same thing. My therapist laughs, she calls me 3-minute Fred. There's 3 minutes left, I always tell them the good stuff. Like, anyway, gotta get going. Oh, Heather wants to kill me. Whoa, where are you going? Oh yeah, I did this thing, right? So for that gentleman, who's 8 years old, and a lifelong Republican, he's of probably the greatest generation, the boomer generation, to tell somebody from a different party that he can't take care of his wife, right? It's a very brave thing. We're gonna have to get to the third answer, folks, right? That's what I want you to do. I want you to have conversations with people and get to the third answer. Because when we get past the bullshit, that was my one cuss word, Chelsea one. We're gonna find out we all have the same problems. We do. And I don't know who you voted for, I don't care. But this time, take a chance. Vote for a Democrat. If I suck, fire me in 2 years. Because I gotta reapply for the job every 2 years. Okay? I can like Washington, D.C. I quit for a real, left for a reason. Okay? But the point is this, if we can get past that, if we can start welcoming our brothers and sisters, our fellow Missourians, if we work together to make a better Missouri, we will do it. And I go back to the beginning of the speech. I'm not done yet. In this district, in this state, they're treated like flyover country by everybody, right? The media, the national parties, everyone treats Missouri like flyover country on afterthought. But what makes it worse is Ann Wagner treats her damn district like it's flyover country. She visits, she goes out, gets a little photo op, her cardboard photo op, and goes back to her house or in town and country. I won't do that. I won't. You won't have to pound on the door of my office, it's going to be open. You won't have to hold a demonstration on Manchester Road welcoming you in my office to talk to me. We'll hold town hall, and yell at me, great. I've taken it. I got doxxed 5 times last year. Brilliant. I got sued for $150 million by Mike Flynn. And what? True story, thank you. That's all I ask. For a tweet, please. So having said that, it's funny, when I started to run, Doug Beck says, I was going to get up with you, Fred. They're running stuff, they're going to like, tell up all the bad stuff about you. I'm like, bro, it's out there. Google Fred Wellman, you're going to love it. But that's the point. We need someone who's going to throw elbows and do what needs to be done and be out there fighting for you guys. And that's my promise to you. I'm no saint, but I'm going to fight. I fought in the Army. I fought for veterans. I fought COVID. I fought Donald Trump and the Lincoln Project. That's what I do. We'll do it peacefully and patriotically, but with your help and your energy, your support, we will win Missouri too. And the final note, my friends in the House District here, there's 26 House districts in Missouri too. 26. We flip 3 of them, guess what we do? We break the Super Bowl injustice. Ray and I talked about this. Ray and I talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. I'm with you. If we win together, we all win. We coordinate, we knock doors together, we flip house seats, we take back Missouri right here. It's in our hands. Just need you. So again, my name is Fred Wellman. You can learn more about the campaign at Wellman for MO. If you want to hear about the podcast, we can talk about that separately. It's great. Trust me, Friday nights at 6. In the meantime, that's all I got, Marie. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Whoever you choose to call on, does this work?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to take the microphone so that he can hear. So who's first?
All right, good talk. Let's go. All right, back in Kansas Nation. All right, Sue's up.
I talked to Ann Wrighton's office.
Oh, wow. Wow, it's all changed over there, huh?
I'm glad to know that she's donating her salary back.
Oh, thank God. You know, she made $286,000 for the top part of last month.
That's what I
Oh, I like you, Sue. Yeah, isn't that funny? I mean, the idea that she's going to suck it up for the team, and for 3 weeks, what hasn't happened in Washington, D.C.? They haven't done investigations, they haven't done committee hearings, they haven't done anything. And here's the punchline that I love the most. Annie gave an interview on Friday last week. She says, we did our job. We passed a clean CR. Does anyone know what a CR is? a continuing resolution. Why do you have a CR? Because you didn't pass the budget. They didn't do their job. They're their second CR because these clowns who have the House, have the Senate, and the White House still can't pass a budget. She literally tried to tell us they did their job by passing a temporary funding bill instead of actually doing their job, which is a damn budget. So it's ridiculous. They can't even get their talking points right because they're so full of lies. You didn't do your job, man. You've never done your job.
Okay, who wants to go next? All right.
Timothy, thank you for running.
Good to see you, Sam.
I wasn't in the military. My dad was, he fought World War II, so I know some of that indirectly. Sometimes I think I've always family was run like the military, so maybe.
Oh, I was a Marine. I say dad. So
This is a hard question. I'd like to get your ideas because I just don't know. It seems that the military is lying down to their constitutional and legal obligations, looking the other way. We're treating the current president as if he's our boss, when it's the other way around. So you have a lot of military experience. I'd be interested in how you feel about it, but I don't understand how that can happen or what can be done about it.
I think.
No, I want to answer. It's a great question, and I'm going to disagree with you. They're not lying down. And this way, I've actually had this discussion on my show a couple times. You know, the military's taught from, I was at West Point, even our basic training schools, but especially as an officer at West Point, you're taught military law 101. Did you guys commission at all? Why did you learn military law, right? Good at ROTC? Yeah, ROTC. You're taught military law 101 right away. And we're taught how to address illegal orders and not. So I'm going to disagree with you. I don't actually believe that our military is laying down for Trump. I tell my fellow military members, because what, a lot of the stuff Trump has done, you disagree with me if I'm wrong, is actually legal. It's shitty, okay, it's awful, but it's technically legal. Who is failing is Congress, but we'll get back to that. I've told my fellow military members, I want you to keep your powder dry. It's a term used in the military, right? You know, you keep your powder dry till you need it. And the really illegal, ugly stuff, like shooting on civilians in our cities, or other issues, I'd like them to fall on their saber for that. So for me, the military has a way of dragging their feet, the military has a way of getting in the way. Now, what Hexeth is doing is monstrous. Firing people willy-nilly, his ridiculous speeches, is still kind of legal. But we did see the Southcom general just resign. I'd like to see more done about these killings in the Pacific. I just killed some guys in the Pacific that is illegal. Those are war crimes. So we're going to have to investigate that. And if I get to Congress, I will. But I would really like the military to hold their power until he does something really truly illegal, like orders us to shoot civilians or take overseas truly, right? So it does look like they're laying down, but the military has a way of just doing what they're told, and you know what I'm saying? So I would disagree. So I'm hoping that we do see the better angels. But I also talk a lot with the service, and they're pissed. They're not happy. They have no respect for the president. They have no respect for Hexeth. He completely lost the generals that speech the other day. So I believe we will see change coming there. You're seeing the pushback.
Just a quick follow-up.
Sure.
Is there some way as voters that we can encourage and give strength to those military leaders who are doing right?
Well, it is speaking out. It is fighting the battle for them. That's what I do. Like, I've got the luxury of being able to say whatever the hell I want. And technically, they did threaten me out to them to bring us back on active duty and court-martialing us. Did you hear about that one? Because the weird thing about being retired is I'm still technically in the Army. And in theory, they can bring me back in the Army and put me in uniform. Good luck fighting with the feds, by the way. But that new one, they're so small and look like ridiculous. But, you know, and court-martialing us for things we do, believe it or not. They haven't done that yet. I mean, I hate to say it, we have to flip the Congress. We have to make Congress do their jobs. Look, Harry Truman, our Missouri son, had the do-nothing, remember the do-nothing Congress, he called it? We got the non-existent Congress. These guys are doormats. Steve Bannon was joking that it's like the Russian Duma. They're just a rubber stamp for Donald Trump. They don't do oversight, they don't do anything. So we got to flip the house. That's the passion for me right now, not just our Congress, you are too. We have to do that. We have to have true oversight. We have to have the power to subpoena people. We do that, things get interesting fast. I'd like to be in the oversight committee. That's my dream. It's a high-level committee, but Mr. Jeffrey's been putting freshman center 100% on there. I'd love to cause some trouble over there. Me and Marty Taylor, man, we'd have a great time. That'd be so much fun. Can you imagine how much fun that would be? Oh my God, that'd be so much fun. Best job ever. But that's what we gotta do, oversight. We gotta do the subpoenas, we gotta back them up. But I do believe in my heart, Tim, and I wanna give you faith. Our military knows what they're doing. And they're not perfect. The military, first, the other thing we learned is military science 101, that a volunteer military is a direct reflection of the society it represents. I still remember that to this day. That's 1983, I learned that. Which is pretty messed up. I don't remember when that date, 1983. But I do remember that. And that's the thing. These are our sons and daughters. These aren't Nazis. They're not brown shirts. That was Hitler's people, okay, that he recruited for that job. Our sons and daughters are our sons and daughters. And you raised them for 18 years before I ever got them in uniform. If we raise them right, we treat them right, we support them, my son's a veteran now, we'll be okay. I believe that in my heart. Does that make sense to you guys, veterans?
Well, I just have some questions.
There you go. Right up here.
She won't let me off the hook. I want to know about your specific policy. Age 3.
Actually, I want to go back to what you said about conversation and the power of conversations, and also the stories that you told tonight, right? And I'm going to a Republican committee meeting tomorrow night, and I'm talking to them because I'm looking for the Republicans that don't want this. And I'm inviting them to my workshops. Just get the knob, open the door, and let the light in. Because there are Republicans that are tired of it, and they want to vote for Fred. So it's not just talking about 2 Democrats in our silo. It's about reaching out. So, do you have anything else to say about that?
And that's exactly the story. I mean, we could talk polls, we could talk vibes. If I had a guest on my show about a year ago, we talked about cold hard reality. And let's all be honest, cold hard reality is settling in right now. Our soybean farmers have had their markets cut out from under them. We're all going to start getting our new health insurance bills in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be ugly. All of us saw our electric bill in August when it went up 12%. Okay? All that's happening. We can talk propaganda and Fox and all that later. Put it aside. And the fact is, when you're sitting at your kitchen table, the old kitchen table, when you are sitting at your kitchen table, you know how much that freaking food costs. And it ain't eggs, it ain't beef, it's freaking everything. It's insurance, it's healthcare, it's everything in our lives is more expensive and out of reach for so many people. We have to address that. We have to work together to address that. And look, somebody asked me, I think Mark Maxwell asked me at KSDK, Fred, if Josh Hawley has an idea that you look at, where you're going to work across out, yeah, because you guys hired me to represent you. Not my party, not another party. The job is represent. So if Josh Hawley somehow stumbles into a rock and has a good idea, I'll suck it up. It happens. I don't know if it happened to him. He wasn't. He's an idiot. The next guy has a great idea. Like the radiation stuff. That was a great law. Did you see that Ann Wagner tried to get credit for it? Yeah. And Josh Hawley had dying around like, where you been? Like, we gotta see, where's Ann? She wasn't there for that. She wasn't getting credit. She had that group project. First she shows the last day. Look at that egg. Out here. You're not helping. I digress. But anyway, that's the thing. We can work together, right? We're going to have to, because again, that's our problem. I'm going to want to work. I'll work with whoever has good ideas to help you. We're going to work to get you money. I talked to a city councilman of one of our cities. He said one of our staffers came to visit them. And he opened the meeting by saying, look, we're not going to get you any money. Congressman Wellman doesn't believe in poor public spending. Like, what are you here for? Well, in case any of your constituents need like help with their VA or their passport. What? It's not customer service rep, it's representative. Bring me the money. Manuel Cleaver's brought like $30 billion to Kansas City. We got diddly. I'll pork belly the shit out of that. You know why? Because we need it. The potential of this district is off the charts. We just need help.
I probably don't need a microphone. Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're recording.
Well, everybody's aware that Social Security is going to be discounted pretty much in about 6 to 8 years from now. We're not going to get what we're getting now. What is your position on how to get people's attention on Social Security that I imagine at least 75% of the people in this room are depending on at some level? But that's something to push down the road. No one's really talking about it. But when it push comes to shove, if Democrats aren't in power, I don't see where Republicans are gonna do anything about Social Security. So what is your position on that?
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think it goes to a larger problem, doesn't it? We're all pushing, everything's become a 2-year cycle of what can I win right now. We stopped doing big things, right? And that's a perfect example. You know, I mean, look at what LBJ did. Oh, there's big things. I mean, yeah, I got the better go to BBB. We stopped doing big things. I think we have to commit to say we're going to do big things. And that does, unfortunately, mean I may have to talk to some Republicans about it. And we're going to have to get to a place where we don't crucify those who do. You know what I'm saying? We are in a place in both parties right now where if I do dare say, well, I sat down with my Republican friend and everybody loses their minds, right? And I'm not saying it's good or bad, because some are, you know, but if we're going to fix things, we're probably going to have to figure out that we've reached across. And I do believe this next election is going to be such a critical moment in our history that if we don't get back to it. But it's kind of like I said to the gentleman with the 3 questions, right? The 3 answers. We're going to have to work with people to get stuff done. And I believe we do. And I would love to see big things. I'm a dreamer. I love to do big things. I've done hard things my whole life. I don't have the exact answer because I'm not an expert, but I'm damn sure going to find the ones who are. And I'm real proud to work with the congressmen I know, like Seth Moulton and Greg Landsman and Tommy Bear. They're members of the New Democrat. These are the guys who aren't getting the TV time, who are trying to get stuff done. National security still matters. Safety of our communities still matters. The economy still matters. And if we can do those big things, like Greg Landsman's got an incredible 10-point plan that I'm all in on. For those, that issue's one of them. But we have to do big things. It's not just who wins the next cycle, who's got the good fox and who's pulled, right? We're gonna have to. So that's why I tell you, my commitment to you guys, if you foolishly elect me, if you elect me, I'm not there for life. If you want to fire me, if I do big things and you hate me, you fire me 2 years, I'm willing to take that sacrifice. My good friend Patrick Murphy was the first Iraq veteran to go to Congress. He's in Pennsylvania. He passed Obamacare and got fired for it. And Patrick's fine with that. You know, so sometimes you got to do big things in Congress. That's the problem. Everyone wants to keep their job, right? Isn't that the problem? I don't. If I deserve to be fired, fire. If I'm able to do a big thing and you fire me for it, I'm cool with that. I've got military retirement. I'm good. My wife's very successful. Fiance. Thank God, I'm like a pool boy. Whatever, you know. I'm not there to live there for life. I'm there because we need representation. And if I'm the guy to do that, and I'm lucky enough to have you and send me there, I promise I'll do big things. And if you fire me in 2 years, I promise I'll go quietly away and I'll never see you again. That's a lie, because I have a podcast. I'm a middle-aged white guy with a podcast. I'm never going anywhere. It's mandatory. You got to have a podcast my age. That's a great question. And I can go into detail, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to figure it out. So, Paul. The row of Pauls.
Sort of a story, sort of a question. You like stories. So,
I do.
Your bills come in at the end of the month. First thing you do is call your boss and say, hey, cut my pay.
I'm sorry? Congressman?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what the federal government's doing. They're cutting taxes, spending more money.
Yep.
We have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
The guy that's about Social Security. How about raising the cap on wages paid?
The answer is, we got to put more money in. We have a problem where no one's going.
That's what he said, what would you do? He told a nice story. Good. So we need to raise taxes. You ready to raise taxes?
Yeah, if you fire me in 2 years, we'll do it, right?
I'm not going to fire you if you raise taxes.
Yeah, that is the agenda, right? We are in a place.
I mean, taxes.
But Paul, what imagine that happened? We have to rebuild this government they just destroyed. Because the fact is, that's how Democrats are going to be in trouble. This is the scary part, you guys. When Democrats do take power, we have to rebuild the government. There's going to get built. And they're going to hang it around our necks. I may only have 2 years and I get elected today, but we're going to have to fix this crap load, and maybe 2 more years after that, and it's going to be very freaking expensive. And they're going to hang it around our necks like anchors. But people like you are going to say, no, we need to do it.
Well, people have been convinced that raising taxes is evil.
Yep, I know.
It's not.
Well, you have to raise taxes on the right people. Okay? It's not us, right? It's not us.
Missouri just cut capital gains taxes.
Guess who benefits from that?
How many people in this room worry about
1% of our population.
Thank you. So, it's not just we're going to work hard, we're going to do this.
I agree.
We're going to have to raise more money.
When I say do hard, that's what I'm talking about, brother. No, it's great. Yell at me all you want. I love it. I can take it. You're an NCO, weren't you?
Maybe.
Oh, that's the same thing. I'm sloppy. love my Navy views. True story, my son went over a sleepover one time, and I picked him up, and I was driving him home, and I said, how'd it go? It was good. Really good time. We started putting that, like, what would happen thing. And I said, well, he goes, they asked me, like, what would it take for your father to disown you? And he said, join the Air Force. I said, I'm so proud. You know, you want a son? Yes.
Air Force.
Ah, crap. It's like the military.
2 Air Force. Oh, no.
Sorry, ma'am. I had to do it.
Quick question. Did you ever read Our Revolution by Bernie Sanders?
I have not, ma'am.
Because he does a really great job of really talking about the failure of the Democratic Party to really speak to sort of poor, working class white Americans, and like that's really the goal has been along racial lines.
Yeah.
In the last few decades or so. The other thing I noticed is just the ability of like the other side to really speak to and create talking points that really resonate and stick to them, and consistently do that. And I know we're being asked to like talk to our neighbors and have these really deep conversations, but sometimes, you know, that's like speaking to a rational person. What's happening is irrational. So how do you all create talking points and educate us on, you know, how to have the most effective conversations with that sort of level of rational conversation isn't what's winning.
It's part of our plan. It's literally part of our plan. That's why I tell you our plan is different. Our plan is field focused. I'm not building money right now to run ads. Okay, I'm building money right now to hire people to go out there and knock doors. We're building money to build a team. Chelsea here's in charge, actually. I'm not going to, to build, I can tell I can build it. Chelsea's in charge of building the processes of talking points for a whole, we want you guys to volunteer now, be part of the legion of talkers for us. We'll give you the talking points and the key points that we see. But we are seeing a breakdown. Again, that cold hard reality is settling in. It may not be a direct attack. Hey, we're awesome, you know, you're an idiot. That's the problem we have to get past, right? We have to accept that we're going to disagree. My own brothers, I'm going to tell you a secret, guys. My own sister's in a district. It's probably not going to vote for me. You know, we had a falling out for COVID. I worked in a COVID hospital. She posted I shouldn't tell the story of it. You know, she posted that pandemic thing. I said, man, you know, sister, I ran a COVID hospital. This sounds fake, okay? Anyway, so we're going to get past those things. But our plan is to be everywhere, have these conversations everywhere, have talking points, have these kind of, you know, try to figure out what we'll be constantly talking. Polls, I know he hates polls, but polls do give us an idea. We've got a poll coming out. Folks like her, with her town talks, what Craig Zumstag is doing with his deep canvassing, that's what Craig's doing. He's going throughout the District 2 and actually sitting down with their living room and having long conversations with them about what the issues are and how to get through them. It is not, I wish there was a super easy answer. There's a couple of memes. I'm going to tell you that. It's not that. It's not memes. I mean, I wish it was. It is a constant discussion of the issues we see them and I'm going to break through it. Am I missing anything, Chelsea?
I think Brad is like to answer the question you're asking, because I think he's doing what we want him to do, which is like sound normal and not explain the inside baseball. Right? Like simply put, and like it's actually very easy, because we're gonna just talk to our neighbors like they're also humans, right? And we're gonna take it down a notch because like just because we're talking about this thing in this second doesn't mean we don't deeply care about this thing over here, right? We're gonna do less events that are like this where we're just kind of talking at you. We're gonna have fun. You know, we're gonna encourage our people to do things like sponsor T-ball leagues, right? Like the Farm Bureau does for the SEC. Go work a 8-hour shift at a food bank with your just Democrat shirt on and don't talk about politics. Just be normal, right? We're all normal. We really are. And we're also kind of funny, but like when we're talking this, no one else thinks like this, right? And he does a really good job of translating it, so.
But our president is consistently telling the country that we're not normal.
And he's down at 37% approval. I mean, you know, the good news is they're starting not listening anymore. I mean, to top polls, he's actually falling to rural counties right now for the first time ever. He's losing the story in rural. He's got the lowest polls right now he's ever had in either of his so he's failing. And that's why he's so desperate. That's why he's flailing. I'm not. I hear what you're saying, but the question was, are we out here? No, it's not stopping him. You know why? Because they're on freaking Congress. It's the Congress. If the you're supposed to approve changes to the White House, the freaking Congress. Where are they? Screwing off here. That's why they're replacing Ann Wagner. Period. I'd love to say it's the easy answer, but you had your chance in 1 year. Flip the damn house. at least, if not the Senate. Then we get some adults in charge.
You'll send a referral to the DOJ and.
Exactly. Subpoena people. We'll see what DOJ. Look, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you everything's all hunky-dory. But I'm not going to let you surrender. No, I'm serious. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, all is bad, woe is me. I've never done it. If I had that speech with my soldiers before I went to Iraq, we would have lost. Desert Storm, we were puzzled by propaganda. Baghdad Betty was yelling at us on the radio. It was the only radio that worked. Thomas, we're going to die. The fourth most powerful army in the world. We won. Because we applied that shit. Don't surrender in advance. And even having that, well, I go do what he wants. I'm going to go, I'm going to fight. You know it. You're a soldier. You're a sailor. And there's a mindset we have to have. We're going to beat his ass. And look, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to tell you there's not going to be some flag waving on top of a hill. It's not. It's going to be World War I. It's going to be freaking Iraq and Afghanistan. We grounded out for freaking 20 years. It's going to be a grinding war. We're going to have some victories. We're going to have some losses. But we keep moving forward. And we need to elect leaders that are willing to take the bars and arrows and keep moving forward. And I hope I could be that guy for you. Because I'm not scared. I've never been scared before, and I would start now. But we can't surrender in advance. I'm sorry. I just won't. Yeah, he's monster. He's doing crazy shit. He's hired a bunch of monsters. Well, the first step we got is to overturn the House and start getting some subpoena power and some, bring the power to the people a little bit. And then we throw his ass out of office. And then we start cleaning house. Starts there. But I'm not going to talk violence. I had somebody up in my business on Facebook today saying, you better get restored, we're going to have violence. I'm not doing it. Because you know why? I lived in Baghdad, you guys. My partner at the Joint Security Forces kissed his daughter goodbye, stepped out his front door, and was executed from a guy in the back of a motorcycle. I know where political violence goes. We're going to fight peacefully. We're going to fight politically. I do not want to see my friends and neighbors getting killed in the streets of Missouri, for God's sake. So when people start talking violence, just put that shit aside. But we're going to win if we use the power. Look, they're listening. They are hearing it. They are hearing it. Okay, they are hearing it. That's why they're scared of us. They're scared of us. That's why they're calling us Antifa. Eric Schmidt was declared Antifa a foreign terrorist organization. That's because they're freaking scared. They know we're going to win. So they're trying to stop us. Don't let them. I've been talking a long time. Am I done? Yeah.
Almost.
Okay.
So I worked at a mid-sized company many years ago when he was still a nobody. My partner asked me, Ron, could you give $300 to Mitch McComb because he's been a good friend to the coal industry? Yeah. I said, sure, Stan, I'd be happy to. So that kind of soft blackmail goes on businesses as election day approaches. You can go up to secrets.org and there's the chain of loyal people giving money to Ann Wagner, who we think is worthless, but they think is reliable. What are you going to do to get the business community, or at least some of the business community, on your side?
That's a great question, right? And we can talk about that. And I'm a businessman. I had a business for 10 years. I worked with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, one of my clients, believe it or not. There is that cold hard reality side of it. There's a reality side of it that terrorists are killing their businesses. Exactly. There's a reality side of it, it really is. My daughter's one of them. There's a reality side for a lot of folks. So we have to have those conversations, and we've been reaching out to business owners and having conversations with them. And you're right, it's hard to break. It's lobbyists, it's bankers. She's called the bank's best friend in Washington. 34% of her bills she's fielded, the most of any, are bank related. Bank fees, she did that. Overdraft fees, she did that. So yeah, they're gonna line up for her. So the first thing I gotta do, I gotta match that money, don't I? That's where the DCCC comes in, that's where VoteVest comes in, that's where your Devs comes in, that's where you come in. It means you squeeze your wallet a little bit and we take her on. I'm gonna tell you, donors in this district right now, the city of St. Louis are, it's a grind. I mean, there are candidates in here, we have campaign managers, it's a grind right now. I mean, I have a lot of depressing calls. Like, well, Fred, I'm not doing it anymore, So we're gonna have to convince people to win, and we're gonna have to lose those balls and win. But I have faith. I've got the national. That's the nice thing about for me for not blowing smoke on my back. I've got 1 million followers on social media. I've got show 150,000 people watching a lot to keep doing my show. We can bring some national attention to this race. That'd be normal. We're already planning a trip to DC to do fundraisers. my friends in Hollywood that I worked with at the Lincoln Project are going to host us a couple of fundraisers. So you're not going to see me just sitting here trying to raise money. I'm going to go around the country trying to raise money to change this district. That's how we do it. We fight the way we can.
How will you speak to unions? I mean, they do have money, and how can you move them over?
Well, it's going great, actually. We've already started. We're having conversations already. I've already been meeting. I've been going to the Rock. I'm a member of the Rockwood Labor Club now. They had one of the Hill restaurants came down and gave dinner tonight. I missed it. Darren Spraver called me on my way to this. Like, bro, I'm Italian. What the hell are you doing? You're gonna call me sooner than that. My mom's Italian. But we're reaching out. That's the conversation we're having right now. We do have great relationships. We're working building. You know, the nice thing, the weird thing about me is I tell you the part when I came back from Missouri 4 years ago, and my fiance said, you know, you're a big cheese Lincoln Project guy, but you got to help here now. And so I started calling like Jill Shoup. I went down to the International Institute, called them, organized their donations. I helped Crystal Quaid. I helped the Democratic clubs. I spoke here before when I was nobody. And so we've already built these relationships already. So the nice thing is I'm not just some guy who showed up and decided on the laws. A lot of them know me already for like the work I've done. I've organized these protests. We did a protest at the VA with AFGE. Not a protest, actually a support for the VA and with AFGE. So the nice thing is I'm not like a total stranger to them. I'm not just trying to say, hey, look, I support you now because I've been out here doing it. So hopefully we've already got that on track and we're going to keep going. But that's a big part of our campaign. And it's hard. You know, labor, working class folks, a lot of folks are still in that world. But reality is coming in and we're going to have to help use the law. But look, the thing is, let me tell you one thing. The strategy I haven't talked about. Look, we're running everywhere. This is why I need you. We're running everywhere. Not just St. Louis, Franklin, St. Charles, Pennsylvania, Jefferson. I don't know. These maps aren't going through, but I'm going to run everywhere. And then somebody said to me, one of the guys we're talking to, said, well, Fred, only 12% of your votes are in Franklin, so you don't waste your time. No. Look, the reason Terry McAuliffe lost Virginia to Glenn Youngkin wasn't the DEI, it wasn't the soccer moms like everybody thinks it was. It's because, for reasons no one understands, Terry McAuliffe decided not to run a rural campaign in any way. He thought if he just won Northern Virginia, Richmond, and Virginia Beach, he'd be the governor. And so counties they should have won or lost 60-40, he lost 90-10. He did that 21 times. Okay? You can't lose. The people stay at home out there. We're going to run everywhere. Look, if I lose Franklin just 60-40, you're going to call me Congressman. That's how close it is. If we get the very small percentage of Spanish-speaking residents of our district, 12,000 of them, to vote, I'm a congressman. We run everywhere. And so that's why I need you foot soldiers to convince those folks to actually just come out and vote. Just come out in a midterm. If we get every actual Dem to come out, we win. So the campaign is to run everywhere, be everywhere, talk to everyone, listen. I'm not doing any listen time, I apologize, but listen, and hopefully we get enough people to come out. So if I lose Franklin 60-40, great. St. Charles, great. We don't have to win it. We just gotta not lose it so bad. Sounds weird, right? But it's strategy. Strategery. Bam. She gave me a quick.
No,
Oh,
I mean, we can go to 8:30, so.
oh, cool. I got nothing time. My fiance's birthday, don't talk.
You have a great logo. When are you going to have t-shirts?
Chelsea, when do we have t-shirts?
when we have more money in the bank. Thank you.
No, actually, we're setting a merch, like a drop ship merch store, so it doesn't cost us anything in the next couple weeks. I think, right? My poor campaign manager has been actually out talking to merch, but it's 3 weeks. You think it's gonna go well, but this has been really humbling. It's been really humbling to come out the gate. It has so much support. We've got, I think, are we over 4,000 individual donors now? It's a staggering number for a small campaign running against somebody we don't ever. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. You're gonna laugh. I called Greg Mansman out of Ohio. And I don't know Greg Mansman. He's another. He just does his job. I said, Greg, I'm running against Ann Wagner. He's like, who? I said, Ann Wagner, thank you. I still don't know her, Fred. Let me look her up. Oh yeah, I think went to Israel with her. Her own peers don't know who the hell she is. So it's a little hard. I knew going into this, I'm gonna have to work a lot harder. It's not hard to tell you. I can tell you. I was a senior advisor for Marcus Flowers in Georgia against Marcus Taylor Green. Money was so easy to make, you have no idea. Marcus Taylor Green, he would just pour money at you. He still lost. This is gonna be a little harder. You know, and it's like I gotta yell and scream, jump up and down, like, give us money. It's great. But yeah, so that's gonna be key. So where's the money?
Who else? Oh,
This is a plan. You could ask a hard question.
Hey there, Fred. Thank you so much for running. A lot of people are really excited about you being in the race and supporting you. What are some tangible things that we can do to help support a congressional race?
Oh man, that's actually hard to remember. I need money. Did I say that already? We need money. But besides money, I need your juice. So we already have our volunteer site set up, so you can go to our email. We're not just spam with emails. I try not to do that. I try not to be one of those campaigns. I promise. But we are already setting up our early volunteer efforts. You know, usually when you volunteer for a campaign, it's like late and get out the vote stuff. We're actually trying to set up things like we said, Veterans for Wellman. I hope you guys are joining. Women for Wellman, interest groups. We're going to do food drives. We're gearing up. We're still getting on our feet, but we need food drives. So where Ann Wagner's the best friend of the banks, I hope to be the best friend of the food banks. You like it? It's pretty good, right? I do that myself. Build a food bank with Fred. Yeah? No, fuck, I can't use that one. Tested and failed. But no, we're going to do that. So there's opportunities to volunteer earlier than you would for a normal campaign. It goes back to what you're asking, man. How do we get out there? We get out there by doing things like that. Show them that Democrats, I'm not just running for office, I'm trying to make a difference in this community for all of us. And right now, we're about to lose SNAP benefits. We're about to lose WIC. The state's going to screw us no matter what. If we can be the good people that we all are, that's why we're Democrats, and get out there and help our community, I think we can make a difference. So we're going to have very early opportunities for volunteering with the campaign, very different than traditional campaigns. And as we gear up, we're really going to need you to come out, get out of your comfort zone, phone bank, and drop lid, and table. We call it, you heard the term table, you know that one? We have not our logo, we have a really cool tablecloth already, it's badass. You know, so you go to the Green Tree Festival, table for us, talk to our favors. But there's this campaign, we intend to have a very, again, the secret sauce for our campaign, give it away for free. You guys, your blood, sweat, and tears. Early, often, everywhere. That's how we're doing it. Not just ads on KSTK. Who watches actual over-the-air TV and sees the ads? Holy crap. Oh my God, right? Right? I mean, Ms. Harris, God bless Kamala, $1.4 billion on ads. Exactly. So we'll do ads because we have to. You're going to see a lot of videos on Instagram for me because I like to walk every morning, so I flip my camera and talk to myself because it's weird. And I have to explain to walking by, hi, I'm talking to myself, nice to see you. I have to make me like a dog with me. We're going to do that, but in the end, we're going to use it to ramp up early. And yeah, our secret sauce is getting you out. Ma'am.
How are you going to hit the younger voters? We're all about, we're all around, you know, an age, but the younger voters need to come out and participate. I saw a few of them on Saturday, but predominantly it was people around my age, a little older, a little younger.
Yeah.
The really young people were not there. How are we going to hit them?
I'm the senior advisor for an organization called Voters Tomorrow, which is a youth voting organization, and we're going to partner with them immediately and bring in a youth outreach part of our team. That's how they, again, by the way, Glenn Youngkin, go back to that. They called Voters Tomorrow a week before the election. I'm calling them now. I already talked to Santiago Meyer about it. So we're going to directly target the youth vote. It's a weird district. It's not actually colleges. There's like just couples, you know, they're all outside. It's really weird, so I can't get with it. But we've already talked to Wash Youth Downs. They're interested in helping us, so we're out there talking. Ma'am?
I just wanted to point out that the president of this township is under 35.
Yeah.
So y'all are already.
So am I.
29 is when I got.
Yeah, so this is part of our, that's why I'm talking, we're building a people. This is a people organization. The hardest part for me is going to be building a people thing. Look, it's really easy to run campaigns based on ads and videos and cool stuff. It's harder when you build a team, and that's why we're kind of overstaffed and we're building a team fast. But that's a big part of it. I've been working on youth voting for quite a while, and I'm excited to do it. But I'm saying it's a weird district. It's 83% white. The average age is higher than it's not a lot of youth. So it's tricky, but I do know we target them. Fastest growing population, you guys, South Asian Indians. You know that. You go to Wellman, there's some amazing Indian restaurants now. We have 2 Indian coffee places now. Okay? Have you guys been to that place? And oh my God, it's good. The desserts, Kalati Coffee. It's behind the snow cone place next to Clark's in Manchester. Next to Orange Street. Oh my God, it's amazing. Packed. Desserts, but anyways. Oh my God, I love Middle Eastern food. So I can go back to Iraq for the food. It's just so good. Yes.
So do you go to
Yes. Yes. Yeah. They invite us. You don't want to bulldoze your way in, but we've been invited because I've been going to the Rockwood Labor Club every week. We're working our way out to other labor clubs, yeah, union meetings. It's a lift. You have to be careful. We're already putting our applications in for endorsements from the unions, so we'll take it very seriously. But yeah, it's a lift. Yeah. Look, the one thing I do got, we don't have a ton of money yet. We have a lot. I have a lot of time on my hands to do this stuff, and I want the job. I want people to see. Look, one of my goals for you guys is to see me everywhere because I want the job. I want people to say, "Hey, man, jeez, I'm sick of that guy." I have a friend who lives in New York. The joke in New York is you're 1 degree separation from all company. Everybody's met the guy. You know, he's been out. He walked all of Manhattan one day. You know, it's about being there and telling people I want the job. And you do that by showing, not telling them. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We can't hear.
She said that a lot of union people in her neighborhood and you want to have me reach that mic out. I know you're sick of hearing the answer. It is wrong. It's about going out and being present and having conversations, finding the issues that matter to them, listening. Because that's our problem right now. People just don't listen to each other. We all put our walls up. Hey, look, I'm part of the problem now. I ran the Lincoln Project. I'm not exactly the most huggy-feely guy when it comes to our opponents. But we're at a point in the city, this county, this district, this state, this country, that we're gonna have to let our guard down and start trying, because somebody's gonna get killed. Some people are getting killed. And I don't want that. So we're gonna have to start having conversations. It means me going to uncomfortable places. I'm okay with that. So it's a great question. Yes, but not yet. That's not yet. We'll probably wait till a little later. Like my HOA is like 30 days out from election. So we're gonna obviously have a primary. We're gonna be able to do the primary. We'll be out about getting those out soon. We're in a weird state. This is one of the challenges why we're running so early. And talking to my peers who are running. We have an August primary, y'all. The reason the incumbents always win, we didn't talk about that part because it's inside baseball. Think about it. If we kill each other until August, and then try to run a general election for 3 freaking months, Ann's loving it. And that's why Ann's talked about her campaign 4 times now, Chelsea, 3, 4. She never does, which means she's scared. She goes, well, Wellman's got a crowded field. He's going to have to run to the left, and we'll see who comes out of the primary. That's her formula. She wants us to kill each other, because that's how she beat Court. Remember, Court's year 18, we had Mark Osmack, we had this incredible field. Okay, and they killed each other until August. Then Ann walked in. So I ain't doing that. Okay? I'm not going to kill my peers. We're going to run against Ann Wagner. And so that's why we're starting. Yes, sir.
Okay, can we all give a round of applause again? And just a reminder, if you had any questions or comments that didn't get addressed, we have our handy dandy feedback box. And I did want to touch on what Fred mentioned at the end. So we have a long primary. Fred is not the only candidate in his race, so it's important. And we as a body, we do not endorse the candidates, we just provide a forum for them to talk to us. And so if you're interested in getting involved with Fred's campaign, you're more than welcome to. But that's also one of the reasons why we as a group want to build out the Democratic brand, so that whoever wins that primary in August already has a lot of general Democratic work that has prepped the way for them as well. So, voter outreach committee, everybody, have a wonderful night.